Hello and welcome to Boomer Live. Today we are here to talk about Lucknow Super Giants versus Delhi Capitals. It was Lucknow Super Giants who won the toss and put Delhi into bat, and it was Prithvi Shaw who gave a blazing start. But then Lucknow made their inroads into the game. They made sure that Delhi does not score a big score, and they restricted Delhi to just 149. And even in 149, all thanks to some end overs hitting by Sarfraz Khan and Rishabh Pant. Though Rishabh Pant got off to a slow start, he tried to make it up. But in response, Lucknow Super Giants finished it quite comfortably, as the score would say. But then in between, you could say it was getting to a tight match. I'm Nikhil here with me to talk about the game. Nikhil, what do you
Yeah,
make of that game? Because it was one of those games where both the teams tried their best to lose, and in the end, who tried their most to lose lost the game. Nikhil, your
yeah.
thoughts?
As you rightly said, very weird game. I think it was a game of two openers.
Yeah,
Prithvi Shaw gave them a great start. He scored 61 of 34. And then the rest of the team managed 84 in 86, if the maths from the calculator is correct. Something around that. It is less than a runabout. So it just tells you how difficult the conditions were for batting. And that was evident in the way everybody batted. But I thought Delhi could have done far better with the bat as well because they only ended up losing 3 wickets. Yes, Lucknow bowled very well at the death, but even if you just remove that tie over, they hardly gave anything away once Shaw got out. So
right.
I mean that, and then you send in somebody like a Robin Powell to hit spinners when you have Sarafraz Khan, and then you use him to bat so low down the order. And to be very honest, both Warner and Nokia look rusty. I
Right.
mean, Warner hardly got off the blocks, and it is understandable. It's not their fault, but maybe they could have given them a bit more game or a practice. I don't know, whatever that could have been, but uh,
Yeah.
I don't think there was a question of not playing them, but they didn't look ready. So I think,
Right.
I mean, you can't imagine Nokia getting out of the bowling attack because of bowling too high no ball. So it just sums up Delhi's day, to be honest.
Yes. Saran says hello, Nikhil.
Hello.
Of course. Yeah. So coming back to the point as well,
Yeah.
the match was not actually won in the second inning. The match was done and dusted in the first innings, as many could say it, because that spell, which was balled by those three spinners, which I would like to bring here
Yes.
as well. The three spinners made sure that Delhi Capitals did not pose big. And look at that figures out there, Nikhil. It was 10 overs for 57 runs, and they picked up 3 wickets. And that's something which you don't see a lot. If you expect your three spinners to settle down well, there you mean that you have lost half of the game, isn't it? And your thoughts on that bowling, because you might see Kronal might have just gone and he's not picked up any wickets, but his spell over there also was very crucial, isn't it?
Yeah, the most crucial spell was bowled by K. Gautam today.
Yeah.
Kept Warner quite up top and then came back and bowled a maiden to Rishabh Pant.
Just
I
to
mean,
interrupt you there, do you reckon that
yeah,
was an interesting selection just for Warner and Pant? Did you reckon this was a tactical call to make sure that, as you know, Warner was available and they had two spinners who would be bowling into the left-handers? So that was a tactical move, you reckon?
possibly yes, but I'm not sure if many of us saw coming that what was going to happen. Warner is not somebody who usually gets out or bats very slowly versus off spins. He doesn't have that kind of a record or a skill set. So it was very surprising, firstly, to see him play. Credit to K. Gautam, he used the conditions very well. And he bowled a maiden to Rishabh Pant. I don't think anybody saw that coming, no matter the quality of both Rishabh and K. Gautam, that for a guy who wasn't getting games for his side to come in and bowl a maiden to Rishabh Pant. I think it was just the way Delhi batted. As I said, they did not go after. They couldn't go after any other spinners, and you could see once Robin Powell got out, they had to reconstruct again. So it was like whenever they wanted, after a great start, you thought maybe now is the time to really push on the accelerator and get that push. But it just never came.
Right, right. We have a question on Ayush Badoni. He's one of those players we spoke on the first weekend of the IPL, and we were quite impressed with him back then when he played the knock against Gujarat Titans. Now it's his third time he's staying on the second time he's staying on the finish line to finish a
Yeah,
game off. And that really speaks volume of a player, right? Last time around, we did speak about Abdul Samad, Riyan Parag, having to be fitted into a number six position, how they are youngsters, and how we shouldn't treat him like another batsman who bats in the top order. Do you
yeah,
reckon that this guy has got a little bit of maturity there? Because you talk about number six in T20 game, it is the
yeah,
toughest position, if not
for
the
sure.
one of the toughest. So, what do you reckon about this lad? Because there's a sense of mature, there's a sense of calmness when he bats, and there's a sense of clarity as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's a very good example of somebody who knows his game for now. As you said, it is very early to pass a judgment on can he continue to do this in tougher conditions, in tougher situations, whenever he's likely to face going deeper in the tournament. But so far, from whatever I've seen, he doesn't look flustered, and I think that is one of the great qualities to have. That if you're not overawed by the situation, that is in front of you, it just tells you that you've earned the right to be there by being in those situations before. He may have been in the situations for lower level games or whichever games that he's played, but to show that to finish games off consistently, these are good signs for him and for Lucknow
Right.
because it just tells you that he was batting ahead of Holder. Holder is
Mm,
an experienced. No matter it was just the last over,
absolutely.
but he still was 17. So it just shows that the team management also has the trust in him that you go ahead, you play your shots, don't worry. I think there is a very interesting line that I think Gautam Nabil said to him that you go out there, show me your game. There are people to play to the situation. You don't
Right.
worry about playing to the situation. You show me what you have, and you don't worry. You will get enough games. So I think that just tells you the confidence that the management has in him, and it definitely showed in the way he batted.
Absolutely. Now, talking about one of the moves by Delhi Capitals, we spoke about Ayush Badal, another youngster who has had a great Ranji Trophy season, and he was coming to the IPL has been Sarfraz Khan. Do you reckon
Yeah.
Delhi actually did a proper justification on sending him a number five? Because number five is never an easy for a batsman who's more like a touch player. He relies on timing. He's playing his first game of IPL after a very long time. And there you
Yeah.
send Robin Powell, who's been doing decently well at number five, number six for Delhi, and all of a sudden you see a switch in batting order. Do you reckon that could have been avoided by Delhi, and that really is one of the reasons why it costed them this game?
Yeah, so see, the one way I look at it is also that they had three key players coming back, and they put all those three players in very difficult situations. You
Right,
had Warner coming in, playing his first game, directly go up top. Then you have Sarfaraz Khan coming in, go out, bet out of position, bet out of your role. So I think Sarfaraz's main role is to get himself in and then go after the bowling. I think Rahman and Sarfaraz could have easily been swapped in the roles, and you could have seen a far more intent from them towards the end. I mean, I can understand that they could not get those shots. The bowling was good, but you saw this was one of those games where you saw Pant's limited death hitting skills, if you want to call it that. That there are some areas that you can bowl to Rishabh Pant and get away with it. So
right,
that was, I think, something for Rishabh also to work on because he got that one good over from Ty, but apart from that, there was nothing that was goal in his arm. So while he did do well to see off the spin, but maybe that is where they really lost the plot that they needed somebody to take that spin on as well because they had
mm,
already got that start. So I think
right,
it was usage of players today in terms of what you can call as tactical things like K. Gautam was also not playing; he was on the bench, but he was
right.
game ready and he showed his skills on the day and it came up for him. So same was not the case for all three of them. I mean, Sarafraz also had his fair share of troubles. Did get going towards the end, but again, too much to do.
Talking about Rishabh Pant, Nikhil, last 3 years or from 2020, he has been struggling to find his feet in T20 cricket. Somewhere there, he has lost the plot in T20 cricket, you reckon? Because this guy made his name in IPL to be known as a hitter. You've seen him hit in dead bowling situations. You've seen him one of the game against Sunrisers where he took down Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, a prime Bhuvaneshwar Kumar all around the park. You've seen him go against Jofra Archer in the death. You've seen him
Yeah.
go against Mustafizur Rahman in the death. Where do you reckon this lad has lost a plot from 2019 to now? Because all of a sudden you're looking at Rishabh Pant and saying, oh, well, can he actually get back his mojo in T20 cricket? So you reckon that he is over relied much on Test cricket? That's where he has tried to overcomplicate T20 cricket by saying that I want to go from ball one, or is it just that he's trying to be more conservative as a player and he has lost the mojo?
I think we definitely saw that a few seasons back that he was trying to change his game, and it definitely wasn't his natural way to play. I think
Right,
he's been far more free and clear in terms of his shot making when he's played Test cricket. So it's a very peculiar case. You really think with the management that they have of Ponting and now Shane Watson joining in, Rishabh Pant would be the first guy to get that clarity of thought that okay, this is my role, this is how I want to play, this is how my team will play. But that, for some reason, hasn't quite come through. Uh, and the thing with guys like Rishabh is you need that one great knock or that one great runs to come off early. And that hasn't happened for Rishabh so far in his T20 time. Uh, that because for a player like him, they have all the shots. It's just like when do you play that shot that really comes to the help of the situation. And also, what we have to remember is people have now seen more of Rishabh. They know
Right.
where to go to him. They know how to stop him from not scoring. So this will be his challenge, and it's a good challenge to have. He's really very young. He has a lot of future time ahead as an IPL player and also as an India player. So good time for him to grow into becoming a better or a consistent T20 batter, if you want to call it that.
That reminds me of one of the greats, Virendra Sehwag. He had a great test record, but if you look at his test record to his T20 and one day record, you'll be like, oh, this lad who hits and plays has not really made it in T20 or one day cricket like you would want him to. But once he does get going, he's an impact player, right? Now, that takes me to another interesting question as well. Now, David Warner is back. Prithvi Shaw looks good. Do you expect David Warner to play an anchor kind of a role once Prithvi Shaw gets going, or do you expect them both to get going from ball one?
I think Warner is way too experienced to not play any role that is asked of him firstly. So I'm hoping he's going to be someone who will take a call depending on the game situation. I don't think he has to go from ball one because Shaw is there to do that. He'll go after even if the ball is ready, Shaw will be ready to go after it. So that is sorted. I don't think that will be a problem. And to be very honest, see, if it was a good day, I would have called it a very brave or a bold move to send Rahman out. But because it was a wicket which was showing that there is some help for K Gautam, you had to quickly assess that okay, maybe this is not the day where Rahman could come off, and then you have
Right.
to adapt. So I think that is something that I'm expecting Warner to do because he struggled last season to get off the blocks very early. So and also team now as this is the case with most experienced players right now. If you see in this IPL, there are very few experienced pros who've come good consistently.
Absolutely.
And because teams have found the way to keep them quiet, KL Rahul today, you saw that he was kept quiet very nicely. Dhawan has had a few good games. Mayank Agarwal hasn't done much. Ruturaj Gaikwad is not doing much. Rohit Sharma has been kept quiet. So it's the younger lot that is able to break free, break their character kind of sorts and
Yeah.
play a good now. So that is something very interesting to see how this senior lot, comes to the fore and
Mm.
how they adapt to the challenge. I think Warner will definitely play a very key role, and I think
Right.
he'll adapt to situation depending on the game.
Right. Now talking about Lucknow Super Giants over here, how impressed are you of their bowling? Because especially their pace bowling battery. Someone like Andrew Ty, Jason Holder has done really good in 2 games consecutively now bowling at the death. Because you talk about Jason Holder, you don't really rate him as a death bowler, but then he's so underrated, don't you think? In death overs alongside Andrew Ty.
I think we need to ask AB de Villiers that about Jason Holder's death bowling skill. But I don't. I personally adore Jason Holder a lot because I feel he's a great character, great personality, and he's come leaps and bounds as a T20 bowler in this very year. In the
Right.
last season as well, he
Right.
came in, bowled those crucial overs, and got better. Again, he's not that old. He's young, growing,
Yeah.
and he's been around for a while. So he knows, and he already experienced the ups and downs of the white ball format. So again, as I think we discussed this in the previous game, that Lucknow are probably one of the most balanced sides that are there in this particular tournament in this season, where they do have a lot of holes plugged. Yes,
Right.
it will be about execution on that very day, but that can happen with any team. But at least they have options open to
Right.
at various spots. Now you can see Lewis is probably going down the hill, if you want to call it that, because he's batting very out of position in that sense, coming after the power play. So they have Stoinis coming in. He's ready.
Yeah. That was
Stoinis.
my question
So
as well. Yeah.
it's a very, and he will also give them another bowling option. So today you saw they could have bowled Deepak Hooda and not played K Gautam as well. Deepak Hooda is a
Yeah.
very fair off
Yeah.
spinner. He could do the role that they wanted, but they went for that particular skill set and they got the job done from K Gautam. So
Right.
I think it
Right.
speaks volumes about the awareness that they have about the at least the intentions. Now how they execute is a different challenge, but at least
Right.
you can see that the planning is there, and now it's about fine tuning those skills.
Right. No, Nikhil, once you step on the field, if you have 32 overs on your kitty, you'll definitely feel calm and comfortable. Now, with the likes of Marcus Stoinis, who's probably going to walk in, and where do you see him bat, number one? And number two, do you reckon this team is going to get on a roll now with having a lot of bowling options, as you mentioned, and also with the balance they have? They bat really deep as well. Now the momentum is on their side. Can they really
Yeah.
get on a roll and make sure that they end up on top four quite comfortably from here on?
They definitely have the players to do that. And
Yeah,
if you see, they've already won without a very major contribution from, say, KL Rahul or Quinton de Kock did his part today. So
yeah,
Deepak Huda played well in one game. You had Lewis closing the game down in another. So they're finding new heroes every other game. So I think that's a great sign for a new franchise.
yeah,
So the form of Deepak Huda and Ayush Badani is critical for them. So
yeah.
there are holes that they're already plugging, and with the inclusion of Stoinis, if the conditions remain same, you will see them getting much better because they have that many spin options as well.
Right. Yeah, there's some technical issues from
Yeah,
there. I don't know what it
yeah,
is. Yeah, I think it's good to go. One of those internet days, you know. Yeah.
yeah,
So talking about, I think internet is being a little wavy today. I hope Nikhil had a lemonade kind of a day. We'll get to that. Before that,
yeah.
uh, Nikhil, talking about KL Rahul, how impressed are you with his captaincy this season? Because he's been under the spotlight. He's probably going to be India's next white ball captaincy candidate as well, because he's already been the vice captain. He's
Yeah.
already led India in a series. Of course, the spotlight was on him because with the kind of team he has, if he hadn't done well over here, people would have definitely gone after him. Are you impressed with his captaincy? Because he's been able to get involved a lot more, you reckon?
Yeah, again, I think we discussed this in one of our previous calls that it is the options that he has at Lucknow. Had it been a Punjab where he always hasn't had that luxury of the options in terms of the variety that he has, that is something he has at Lucknow. And as you said, had he not done well here, then it could have been a lot of questions asked more of him. But so far, so good. Again, I will be very honest in terms of we don't know how much of this is him alone and the management also
Right, right.
coming together. So that is something we will only know with time. But I think yes, so far so good. I don't think he's been pushed around much in terms of pressure situations, and he's held his own. So
Right.
that's a good sign.
Right. Now, talking about that segment of the day where we speak
Yeah.
about lemonade or a wavy kind of a day, Nikhil, tell me about your fantasy day at the office. Did you have a lemonade kind of a day where you absolutely had a bingo, or where did you have a wavy kind of a day?
I had a good day. I would say I had a good day because I had Quinton and I had the bowlers who took wickets. That is Ravi Vishnu. So and I also had Shaw. I thought Shaw's knock was due long due, and
Oh,
he
you had
came good.
Shaw.
So
Okay,
yes, I did.
interesting.
I did bank on Shaw, especially more because of batting first. If it was batting second, maybe I would have taken a risk of not taking him. But yeah, I took Shaw and it came off thankfully.
Nice. Now, talking about having such days and to be strategically really astute in terms of your planning, Nikhil is saying
Yeah.
a course on fantasy sports and how to win fantasy sports and have a lemonade kind of a day. We refer to lemonade as a bingo day, just for your reference.
Yeah.
Nikhil, I'm handing over to you about the course you're taking.
So yes, very good example for today that I had Jason Holder as my captain, and yet
Nice.
I made good enough amount of profit because my entire combination was right. So you're not going to have those days if you don't put enough thought into the kind of teams that you're making, into the type of contest that you're joining. So it is one of the key aspects of fantasy cricket, and I want a lot of people to focus on the small processes that they need to do so that they can have such kind of days in the future. So that is what the course is all about. It's about these small processes, the small queries that we often ask that okay, is it a risk? Is this not a risk? Is this a safe game to play? Or is this a game to not play a small league or only play grand league? So how do you
Right.
identify? There are enough factors out there. We just have to be very open, ask our questions, ask those questions to ourselves. So that's what the course is about. It's not rocket science. It's just everyday things that we need to focus on, make profitable teams. The point is to make profitable teams so that you should get something back every game. And if you
Right.
don't, you need to understand okay, why did you not do well? Was it in your hand? No. Okay, great. That's okay. You'll go again the next day. So that is what the course is about. Already a lot of people have benefited. So hopefully a lot more will follow and they'll also benefit.
Oh, yes, absolutely, guys. Click on the link on the bio and get onto the workshop straight away, and you definitely can get Nikhil's masterclass on that. Talking about that and talking about financial risk as well, one platform which offers you free to play fantasy sports experience is Boomer 11, and this IPL you can win prizes worth up to $5,000. And do remember, it's totally free to play. And if you want to get more of these updates, fantasy tips, and also some sporting related memes, if you're a meme lover, get onto our Instagram page. Subscribe us on YouTube because we're going to be having Nikhil, Jones, Sandibani, and more people joining us through the course of IPL, putting their knowledge, analyzing every game in depth, and we're definitely going to also help you with some lemonades and also with some wavy hairstyles. So, having said that, Nikhil, thank you for joining. Have a good day, and I hope you enjoy the game.
Yes, have a good day, guys. Take care. See you soon.